Hello and welcome to Rebels Radio latest interview. I'm joined by Slough joint managers Neil Baker Jon Underwood. How are you, gents?
Good, thanks, John.
Yeah, excellent, thanks.
Good. So 4 friendlies down, 3 wins, 1 loss. How are you reflecting on the current games today?
We're pretty pleased all round. Obviously disappointed to lose today, but overall, where we've come in the last few weeks, we're pretty happy where we are. To be honest, we've got 6 new faces in the squad. Well documented that we have 4 long-term injuries, and 3 of those 4 are absolutely on track. Obviously, with one exception being Adam Fowler, who I know we'll talk about. But so all in all, considering that kind of 9 faces that are new from the end of last season, we're pretty pleased with how we're looking. And
what's your approach been to these friendlies? Obviously, is it important to mix up the game time for people? Is it about looking at checking formations and certain combinations?
Yeah, no, it is all about minutes. We're not sort of sitting there and thinking, oh, what's the best side or anything like that. Today's a prime example. We were getting sort of strung apart first half by Wingate and Finchley, and in the league game we would have changed our formation accordingly. But it's not about that. It's about getting the fitness into the legs, and it is about winning games as well. But we just feel that we need to work on what we're going to do this season and not worry so much about other teams, and so it's important that pre-season we work on that as much as possible.
And you talked a little bit about today's match. What were your thoughts on today's performance?
Yeah, we were disappointed with the first half performance. We didn't get out the blocks. Their shape initially caused us problems, caused our midfield problems with how they were set up with the diamond. We didn't deal with it. It took us kind of probably 25 minutes to get to grips with it, to be honest, by which time we were 2 down. But I think more importantly, we didn't pass the ball well enough first half. On a lovely surface over there, simple 10-yard balls were going astray. And if you've seen the game on Tuesday at Burnham, some of the football we played was superb, and on a better pitch today, we didn't replicate that in the first half. So, we kept giving the ball back to them too cheaply. They passed it better than we did, and they were certainly at least 2 goals better than us first half.
Yeah, and that causes, by giving the ball back to them, it causes problems because it means that we're chasing the ball to win the ball back, and that's where they were stringing us apart. If I'm 100% honest, they just kept the ball a lot better than we did, and that's what we said at half time. You can talk about formations, you can talk about extra men in midfield and whatever else, but the crux of it is if you keep the ball, it doesn't matter what they're doing because you've got the ball, and they're the ones who are chasing to win the ball back. And as he said, we didn't keep the ball well enough first half, but we definitely changed that second half. Second half we kept the ball a lot better, and we had a lot more of the game. I felt we had the lion's share of the second half and probably the better opportunities. And at 2-1, I thought we might get back into the game and maybe nick a draw. In reflection, probably a 3-1 win was probably a fair result for them, because I thought that their first half performance was very good. And they still always cause problems with their pace going forward. So it's probably a fair reflection today, but it was a good game for us.
What have you been most pleased about across the 4 games so far?
I think for me it's how the new lads have settled in. You're never sure. We're careful what kind of characters we bring in. It's not just about what they can do on the pitch. It's their attitude and how they are as lads. And we did our homework, but you still just never quite know until they all get together. And it's been really positive. I think the quality that we've brought in has, the players that were there from last year have kind of looked around and thought, blimey, yeah, he's a good player, and it's kind of spurred them on to do better. I think we've got, there were certain players that probably weren't at their best back end of last season, and those lads are looking a lot sharper. There's big competition for places. It's probably the most quality and depth I think we've ever had as a management team in terms of the squad. Normally you've probably got 12, 14 that you want as your starting players, and then you've got some squad players, and we don't see it like that at all this year. I think we've got right the way through the side, we've got good competition, and we're going to have some tough decisions ahead of us when if everybody's fit and available, we're going to have some very tough decisions.
And I think that shows. We talk about plus points of the 4 games. The work rate has been very, very good in all 4 games. Even today when we were getting a bit of a chase in, the work rate was still very good. And I think the desires there from the lads. And as Anders says, because of the competition, they're all having to step up a little bit, and that can only be a positive thing, really.
And what are those areas that you think you could just do that little bit better in, that make a difference?
Well, you can overanalyze everything. There's you can always improve on everything. Yeah, and so we're pretty happy with how it's gone. As I say, we've had 8 halves of football, 7 of which have been very good, and one's been not so good. It wasn't great, and that's what happens sometimes.
It's kind of typical of pre-season.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever been involved in a pre-season that's gone perfectly. I think the best pre-season I ever had as a player, I think me and Bakes were together at Farm. We had almost a perfect pre-season.
And then lost first 3 league games.
Yeah, got smashed 4-0 on the opening day of the season. So it's we try not to get too carried away when we play well, and try not to get too disappointed when we don't play well. But important we learn a few lessons from today, and we will do that.
But I do think and we can say this. We both believe we're a lot stronger than we were last season, and that's what we wanted to be coming into pre-season. With that view that the squad we've got is better than what we had last season, and I think we can both say that is the case, and you can talk to the players and they all agree. So but then it's what other teams are doing, because I'm sure everyone else is improving. So have we improved enough that we're better than other sides? So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough league.
Are there any particular players who are standing out for you who you think wow, you're really flying at the moment? They've looked after themselves well over the summer, and they're where they need to be.
It's difficult to sort of pinpoint anyone out, really. I mean, obviously, in terms of the new lads, obviously you look at Lewis Putman, the last 2 games especially, he's really showed some, his quality, and why we brought him to the club, and as a goal scorer, he's going to get the plaudits. It's we've got some very good strikers fighting for 2 positions at the club, and you look at Nathan Webb as well. I think Nathan's come in, and we played him slightly out of position first game at Farnborough, up against a good left winger, and he's still done well, but since putting him into central midfield, I think him and Jamie have excelled in there. I think they've struck up a good partnership already, and we're really delighted with Nathan. But in all honesty, I think everyone's come back and shown something this pre-season, where we've come away from sessions where we're absolutely delighted, and I can tell you, back end of the season, and quite a big part of last season, I don't think we had that feeling, where we were coming away from training and we weren't feeling that that enthused by it, but we're both very enthused by what we've seen so far.
And obviously there's been a number of changes, people away and absent, and a few injuries. What's the latest on the squad?
Well, I mean, there's kind of on an ongoing basis we've been missing people. I mean, it's no different to anybody else. All sorts of clubs have been missing players. It actually helps you in a way in that you can get more 90 minutes. If we had 20 players for every game, it'd be very difficult. So it's 15, 16 at games has been about right, and we had 15 today, plus young Oscar in case there was an emergency. But no, pretty good all round. A few issues. Luke Williams, whether he's got glandular fever. He's certainly been tested for glandular fever.
Yeah, he's been tested for glandular fever, and he gets his results Monday, but he's been asked to go into the doctors to discuss his results. So we're assuming that he has got glandular fever, which obviously kills him a little bit, because he's not going to get a pre-season. So when he does get fit, which it can be anywhere from 4 weeks to 3 months with glandular fever. I remember having it when I was young, and so he might have to go out on loan somewhere to get some games to get his fitness and levels and sharpness and things like that. So obviously he hasn't been around for the last sort of 10 days.
Yeah. Craig Scott's picked up a groin injury in training Thursday. We've heard from him today. He's had it checked out today. I think it's only a strain. I think he should be back for the Wealdstone game week on Monday, the last friendly. So obviously it's not been ideal for him, but we signed him for the long term. I think he'll be a good player for us. Gurkan Gockman had a real good first couple of games and then got injured at Hayes and Yedding. It's a hamstring. He'll probably be back to just before the start of the season. Yeah. Dan Reid, a bit more of a concern on him with his knee. He injured his knee at Hayes. I think he's probably looked to get a scan this week. Got a feeling there might be a little bit of ligament damage there, but we'll have to wait and see.
Other than
that,
we've got Adam Martin to come back.
Yeah.
He gets back on Monday, so he'll be involved at Met Police.
And obviously the blow at Adam Fowler recently, just that his recuperation's been knocked back a little bit.
Yeah, he's had a further scan on his hamstring. It turns out the hamstring tear he had at Truro was a really, really bad one, as bad as you could get. And he was starting his recovery, and he was quite positive a couple of months ago in the summer, but he's had a problem. He's had a setback, and he's had a further scan, and he's struggling, to be honest. He's got to kind of take a step back and.
I think it's frustrating for him. He's somebody who puts his heart and soul into football, and I think both me and John both know from when you're missing games for injury, it's frustrating as it is. But when you're out for 16 months and you keep thinking you're going to be coming back and you keep having little setbacks, it's really knocked him. So I think he just wanted to take the pressure off him, because he. As he said, he doesn't want to be a captain around players who don't necessarily even know him and haven't really even seen him play. So, he wanted to take that pressure off him, and maybe step back a little bit and get fit, hopefully in his own time. And we hope that he will still have a part to play this season.
We're not going to put a time scale on it. We're not going to put him under any pressure. He's going to take a step back, take his time, and when he's good and ready, he'll start to pick it back up again. But for now, we need to count him out of our plans, which obviously is a shame. But it's something that kind of we've seen coming probably a little bit over the last few weeks, and we're well covered at centre half. And as big a player he is, we've obviously got some very good options at centre half. We've got four options there, and we're happy with them all. So we'll have to get on with it.
In terms of the squad generally, is there any sign that you're looking at or keeping an eye out for any other new players, or be keeping things? Obviously, there's talk of Rummy potentially coming back for a period when he's back in the UK.
I mean, Rummy will, obviously, we'll have to see where we are, but we will always take Rummy into the squad when he comes, because he offers us so much, and you're normally always picking up an injury or two or whatever. So Rummy's the only one. I think we're quite happy with what we got. We're not going to keep looking elsewhere, and we'll start the season with what we've got, and if we need to make any changes, we'll make make changes as and when. But I think we're quite comfortable with what we've got at the moment, and we'll sort of see where we go from there.
And if I had to ask you now for your starting 11, would you know what that is? Would it be an easy decision? Would you both say the same thing?
Well, funnily enough, we talked about this the other day. I rang John and said, "Go on then, name me your starting 11 now," and he sort of laughed and said, "Well, I can't." And he said, "What about you?" And I said, "Well, no, I can't either." So there's
certain areas you kind of know.
Pick a few things up in there.
Yeah, but there's so much up for grabs, and truly we're basing it on the form going into the season, and those that over the next 3 games and what we've seen in the previous 4, those that do well, everyone's getting the same amount of minutes. We're sharing the minutes around, trying different combinations, and the lads who start will have really earned it, because there's a lot of competition.
Yeah. And finally, next game up against Met Police. Any particular squad news, or what you're looking to go down there and do? It's a great pitch, nice place.
Yeah, we had a great
atmosphere.
Yeah, we had a great friendly there last year. It was Jim always has a good side, and they're always competitive, and as you say, the setup's lovely down there. So we should be relatively strong going into that game. I don't think
we'll gain Adam Martin and Guy Hollis from today, and I don't think we'll lose anyone from today. We'll.
Yeah, and it's one thing we haven't obviously mentioned is another 45 minutes from Warren, and he will probably he's not up to his Warren Harris levels or anything yet, but I think people will have to remember he's been out for getting on for a year, but we're delighted that he's got through. He's been on holiday for 10 days and he's got back last night, and he's got through another 45 minutes stay without any problems at all, and that's another huge bonus for us, because we all know what a good player Warren is, and it will take a little bit of time, and we might have to just persist with him a bit, but he can
Jamie
be a big
McClurg
player.
also did his first 90 since December. And people forget how long he's been out. First 90 since December. Sears, he did 25. We've been building him up. We'll look to give him a half at Met, and he's looking better and better. So there's far more positives than negatives at the moment. So we're pretty pleased.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you ever so much for the update. Good luck on Tuesday, and let's hope the positive continues for the next few weeks.
Cheers, John. See you
Thank you
later.